is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
And welcome to another edition of Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. It is a Hump Day Wednesday, and I'm happy to be here with you. Wow, it's February already. The year is going very quickly. Today on Guardian Radio today, we're going to have a very interesting conversation. Looking at the numbers, the birth rate in our country, right? And of course, I've been doing this series on relationships. And so we're going to continue along that vein by asking, can Bahamian men having multiple Bahamian wives produce more Bahamians in the Bahamas? It's a lot of alliteration. Can Bahamian men having multiple Bahamian wives produce more Bahamians in the Bahamas? But before we get to that, you got some interns in studio, and I want to give them an opportunity to get on the microphone because they've been on the board. They've been doing a lot of things. I can let them tell you what they've been doing, but I want you to introduce yourselves. I want my brother Brandon to introduce himself first, and then we got Donnie over here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Brandon, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what's on your mind, man.
My name is Brandon Smith. I go to Elizabeth.
So pull the mic down a little bit. Yeah. Brandon Smith, you go to a school?
International School of Business, Entrepreneurship, and Technology.
All right.
Basically, we've been doing there as interns. We've been learning how to run the studio, basically learning how to just
work behind the scenes, basically.
Yeah. So what does that look like for you? Like you get here. What is behind it? For people who don't know, what does behind the scenes look like?
Behind the scenes look like, for the people in the studio, helping them.
Mm-hmm. I heard y'all asking if if there was any more coffee left. Y'all been getting coffee?
Yeah,
helping them with the coffee machine.
Trying to be as versatile as possible.
Helping them run the board.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Run the board, commercial breaks, all that good stuff.
Breaks, stuff like
So
that.
so for your friends out there who may be listening to this show now or later, what's the board? What does that mean? What's that?
So for the board, it would something as like, helping with the callers, helping them be on time.
Mm.
So when basically click of a button, you do it too early or too late, it could mess up the flow of the show or how it's going.
So y'all help with the timing of the show.
Timing of the show, yeah.
Right. So Donnie, I know you have a little bit more experience in the radio line because you have some important parents around this. Tell everyone who your parents are.
Yeah, so my parents are Naughty and MJ, and they do the talk show Talking Heads.
Talking Heads. So you are like a baby Talking Head.
Baby mini Talking Head.
Excellent. So Brandon, I know there's some people who you may want to thank or shout out.
There are a few.
Yeah, let us know, man.
Most of all, I'd like to thank God for giving me this opportunity.
Yes.
And NASA Guardian giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
Most of all, I'd like to thank my mom, Bernadette Major, the teachers and staff at Elizabeth for helping me, bring me here.
Yeah.
Some of my siblings, Brene, Donovan, and Maverick, Brothers Business, Road Runners.
Okay, that's your brother's business.
Also, for also helping me get this opportunity, I'd like to give a shout out to Naughty, MJ, and Dwight.
Yes.
Just helping them give support and belief in me.
Yeah, man. Man. And I'm happy you guys are here. I'm proud of you all. The last question, do you think, so far having this experience, do you think you would want a career in radio?
Yes, sir. It's really fun.
It's very fun.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah.
It might take a little bit of getting used to because, as you can see, it's very public show, Thomas.
Yeah.
But
around the world, really.
Internationally. So, but I think it's very good. It's a good experience for us.
Yeah.
Good experience for the school. Good look on the school, and that's mainly what we came here to do: make our school look good, make our parents proud, and above all else, make the Lord proud and keep Guardian Radio a great show. A great place.
Awesome. I did say that was the last question, but I lied. I got one more question. Can Bahamian men having multiple Bahamian wives produce more Bahamians in the Bahamas? What say you? You don't have to answer that question. I just messing with you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, we want to give a big shout out to Brian. Who else is here? What other interns are here? Shout them out too.
Sancho.
That's Sancho. That's my brother.
Okay.
He also goes to his bed as well.
He also goes to his bed. Shout out to his bed. And
Yeah.
he's actually on a talk show here at Guardian Radio. I believe it's the Press Box every Sunday.
All
Every
right.
Sunday.
So he don't need to be in here.
He experienced, man.
He on the board now. He
on the
already
board.
know what he
He
doing. All right, man. Shout out to Brandon and Donnie, and they are part of the Isbet crew here at Guardian Radio doing their internship. So shout out to Isbet and everybody who made this possible. We're going to run to a break, and then we'll jump right into the show right after this.
Try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Get ready for the biggest football game of the year, Super Bowl 60. We have the best seat in the house for you. Join us live at Anthony's on Paradise Island on Super Bowl Sunday, February 8th from 2 to 6 p.m. Enjoy giant screens, delicious fun food, ice-cold Collect Bear specials, prizes and surprises non-stop. It's the place to be for Super Bowl Sunday. Anthony's on Paradise Island. Watch the Patriots take on the Seahawks.
Touchdown! Seahawks!
The Star 106.5 All-Star team will be there to cheer you on from 2 to 6 p.m. It's the biggest Sunday of the year for the biggest game of the year, Super Bowl 60, live at Anthony's on Paradise Island. Don't miss it.
City of Miami Gardens presents JITG Music Fest. Janae Aiko, Ludacris, Ashanti, Nelly, Glorilla, LMA, Maya, Show, D Nice and Friends, featuring WV, Donnell Jones, Case, Sunshine Anderson, and Kenny Burns, Isley Brothers, El DeBarge, Stephanie Mills, and so many more. March 7th and 8th, Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets and info at jazzinthegardens.com. Jazzinthegardens.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome to another edition of Guardian Radio. Today we are back here on Guardian Radio today, just having fun with the interns before we dive into the show. But I said we were having a discussion on relationships, love, life. February, of course, for many is Valentine's month, even though it's only a day, but it's a lover's month. And so the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, we have a wonderful opportunity for people to join in a conversation called Love, Lies, and Liberation. You can go to journeyhomegroup.com. There's a workbook attached to this conversation, and everything is only $10. So you can just check out the website if you want to join us each Saturday in February. But one of the things I know we will discuss at some point in this month of conversation is the reality of relationships that may appear to be taboo. All right? We are in what many would call a Christian nation. And in being a Christian nation, of course, we were taught that relationships, first of all, heterosexual, and that they would consist of one man, one woman, right? Our parents, our grandparents, going back for many generations. That's the perceived, I'm going to say it that way, that's the perceived way of having a relationship. I'm saying that because, and producer, I want you, when we going into the net, coming back from the next break, I want you look for the song Man Shortage. Yeah. Man Shortage, and then KB got that song Cuckoo Soup. We can play with them songs today. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we were taught, and many of us grew up understanding that it's just one man, one woman. A lot of that, they say, is based on this Adam and Eve story. There was one man, and out of that man came a woman, and therefore marriage, as we know it today in the Western world here in the Bahamas, is based around this one man, one woman concept. Anthropologists will tell you that if you do any real research into families, that in many instances you have situations and have had situations where you have one man to multiple wives, right? Now, it's really odd that in the Bahamas that this is a taboo, I guess, concept, especially since sweethearting is our number one sport. That's our number one non-talked about sport, sweethearting, right? And so, as a man, right, who is watching, and I'm pulling up some numbers now, right, is the Bahamas below what's called the replacement level in birth rate. Now, what does that mean, right? We're looking at the country filled with a bunch of immigrants. We complaining about, but we're not watching this thing called the replacement level. The Bahamas is significantly below the replacement level fertility rate, with a total fertility rate estimated around 1.37 to 1.71 children per woman as of 2023 to 2025. Now, if you go below 2.1 as it regards the replacement rate, they say that's kind of irreversible. Your numbers are going to keep going in the direction that they're going in, which for us is going down. We have less Bahamians having children. All right? So if you're not having at least 2 children, which means you're going to replace you and your spouse, then right away we're looking at this replacement level fertility rate going down, replacement levels, right? So the birth rates have been on a steady decline since the early 1990s, right? With 3,300 live births in 2022, 664 in 1993. We have an aging population. So if you're bringing in more dependents than Pampas, you're in trouble. If you're bringing in more dependents than Pampas, you're in trouble. All right? So the decline in the births is leading to an aging population and a reduced youth cohort, causing concerns for the sustainability of the National Insurance Board. So this is what the whole conversation around national insurance has been about. And we're not going down that road today, but that's one of the results. That's one of the symptoms of us not having children. So I'm asking this question regarding Bahamian men having multiple Bahamian wives. And of course, we could ask it another way. We could just say men having multiple wives. But for the sake of the conversation, right, I'm asking about Bahamian men having multiple Bahamian wives. So I guess you could say they could be naturalized too, right? I guess you could say that, right? when we look at the census, the last census, right? Census numbers in the Bahamas, right? Right? Men versus women. We see another reality that we're facing. It's really a numbers game at the end of the day, right? So there's, based on the 2022 census of population and housing, the preliminary results, the total population of the Bahamas was 399,314. Females outnumber males with 206,770 females, which is 51.8%, and 192,554 males, which is 48.2%. So roughly 15,000 thereabout more females than males. This is an estimate, right? So if we go with this story of Adam and Eve, and I'm not speaking out against the original African book of Bereshith, the African Genesis, which gives much more detail into what this was really about. But we've been presented with the Greco-Roman rendition, one man, one woman. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But in the face of these numbers, one man and one woman is going to leave roughly 15,000 women lonely or lesbian, which doesn't help the family. I know this may be a hard conversation for some people to have, because some people, you know, your husband may already be looking for an excuse to do foolishness, but this ain't what that conversation is. I ain't talking about sweethearting, all right? Because when you talk about taking on multiple wives, you're talking about responsibility, all right? You ain't talking about sliding around by someone between 11 o'clock at night and 3 o'clock in the morning and then acting like you don't know them for the rest of the day. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about literally coming together and pooling resources and building family, right? There's a science behind it, and we'll get into that as the conversation goes on, right? But during this month of Love, Lies, Liberation, we said, let's put it on the table because it's taboo right now. And there are people who will have any number of things to say about a relationship with one man and multiple wives. And now, of course, people will say, well, what about a woman having multiple husbands? Well, that's why we went to the numbers first. That's why we went to the numbers. All right? A woman with multiple husbands could still only have one. I don't care how many men she sleep with. She only gonna have one or two at most, unless she on fertility drugs and have, you know, a multiple amount of babies at one birth. So that doesn't really serve the purpose of this conversation, or the purpose of having our birth rate ultimately replace those of us who are going to eventually transition, or as some would say, die. All right? And so biblically, there is definite foundation for this type of relationship, and it actually is how the children of Israel would have grown their numbers, because God's chosen people, right, coming out of Jacob had 4 wives, and those 4 wives had 12 to 13 children, depending on who you ask, right? So some would say, well, they wasn't really his wives, or 2 was his wife, and then they had half wife. All the churn wasn't no half churn. Now, of course, you know, Ephraim and Manasseh, they'll call them half tribes because they say they were mixed, but they were whole people, right? And so this conversation we're getting into, it's a mature conversation. It speaks to the fact that we as a people, as Africans, we didn't have single mothers in our communities, right? We didn't have prisons. We didn't have the violence that we see in the world today. Talking about in our cream culture, in our pristine culture. I'm not saying obviously right now if you look at the continent, there's a lot going on. But we took responsibility, like Abraham had Hagar and Sarah. You know, David had multiple wives. Solomon, you know, he was he's running right out, right? Right? And we could go on and on. But the chosen people come out of, the Greeks will say polygamous or polygynous, but that's not the word we originally used. We just call it family. All right? I see the phone lines lit up. We're going to get to that right now. But this text says, good day, resounding yes. I want to do my best to increase the population of the Bahamas. All right. We got a lot of text coming through. Let me go back to the bottom. All right, this one says, too expensive for kids, buddy. I'm glad you brought that point up, Texter. Here's what I'm not suggesting. I'm not suggesting we as men take on women as dependents. When you come together and you have a family with multiple wives, why can't you have multiple businesses? Why can't you have multiple streams of income? See, because then the excuse of it being too expensive, it flies out the window, right? If when you marry one woman, she could go work and bring money home, why can't it be the same when there's 2 women or 3 women or 4 women? Your mortgage split in 4. Your car note, well, you may have more than one car, obviously, but you could have a couple of funds, but you're splitting that. You're splitting the water bill, the light bill. You have money to actually build the kind of house you want to live in. You know what I mean? So I hear your texter, but just think about that. This next texter says, I come in here right now on the phone line. Men in the Bahamas have been having children with many women for decades. This is nothing new. It is now accepted in our country. Even marriage and children for other persons and not their spouses while being married. Men and women are double dipping in their marriages with no godly shame. This is sick, but true. We are in a demonic state throughout our country. Now, here's what I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating with this reality that the text is pointing out. I'm saying if we come above board, because I'm talking about biblical principles, if we come above board and actually have a responsible conversation and multiple women and a man come together and are above board, and because you could still have adultery in a marriage with multiple wives, because if you aren't committed to 5 women, you have 4 women, and you just out there messing around with the 5th one, that's still adultery. You understand? For the man I'm talking about, of course, you know, the only person in this type of relationship that has multiple partners is the man, not the women. All the women have one partner. You understand? But let's run to the phone lines. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325 the Family Violence, 242-300-5720. Of course, we're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com. We're also at Cable Bahamas 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. Caller, you're live. Caller going once.
Hi, good afternoon, Anku.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, first-time caller.
All right.
Very interesting topic that you have.
Yes.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
You talked about men having multiple wives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. What about as it relates to the sexual transmitted disease and that kind of stuff? What's your take on that?
Great question. This is why I'm saying that it needs to be done in a responsible way. Once that unit is formed, no one should be coming out of that bond to go and explore and do other things. I'm not talking about randomly bringing in 3 or 4 women. I'm saying the 2, 3, or 4 women, or however many you have, that bond is what you're going to maintain, so that there is no issue of the diseases. Once we've tested and we all know we're clean, and we maintain the committed relationship that we form, That's not an issue at all.
Okay, wives are you talking about?
At least two. Let me just say it that way.
Oh, okay, at least two.
At least two. Now,
All
because
right.
I'm talking, if we're talking replacement level numbers, right? And if you have two children with each woman, that's four children, right? That
Right.
replaces everybody and adds one. That's just a basic number. Now, when you go to the census and you look at the fact that there are approximately 15,000 more women than men, that's not including the men who might be not interested in women, or the men who can't get to women because they're in jail, which means that there's even more
Okay.
women that are potentially lonely,
Okay.
right? Then the numbers could increase.
Okay, so from a female's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
do you have more than one wife?
Not yet.
Oh, not, because it's not legal here in the Bahamas.
Well, I'm not even talking about the legality of it yet, because
Right.
we know it's illegal to go and register your marriage.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you having a wife doesn't mean that you have to be married to the state, right? So in British law, they have what's called common law marriage, right? You married whether you sign that paper or not, because if you don't take care of them children, the court coming looking for you. So you married, right?
Okay. So I guess when you take another female, I mean it's not legal here. So if your common law wife,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you guys are on the same page where there's no jealousy and all that stuff. Because I personally, as a female, I can't understand how my husband could have another wife, common law wife, or whatever that is, and be okay with that.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not sure if that's happening with you right now, but if it is, how does your other half deal with that?
Well, when we discuss what we're discussing today, we discuss it from the perspective of culture, right? And the great Shahrazad Ali. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this lady by the name of Shahrazad Ali. She wrote many books back in the 80s thereabouts, but she wrote a book that talked about black men, a black woman's guide to black men and a black man's guide to black women, right? Where she talked about a lot of these different realities that we're facing that we're not discussing, right? One of the things she says, while she agrees or understands the necessity of a black man having multiple wives, but from the cultural perspective, from the aspect of looking at the culture grow and the community grow, she understood why it needed to happen. And that was a feminine perspective. Also, in our ancient African culture, women were the ones who actually proposed this way of life. Men didn't create this. Men didn't create what they're calling polygamy today. Women created it, yeah.
All right, I got you. So one final question. And I'll
Sure.
hang up. What if your common law partner decides that she wants another spouse? How would you deal with that? I'll hang up and listen.
Sure.
Take the call.
So again, we started the show talking about numbers. So what would be the purpose? Just to have, I always say this to women who ask that question, right? Women struggling to keep up with one man. Y'all just have headache. Y'all have to wake in the morning. Y'all being in the churn all day. Whatever excuse you have with one man. What you can do with two men? What you can do with three men? So, I mean, it's a fair question, but it doesn't serve the purpose of the replacement, the fact that we are below replacement levels with regard to the birth rate, and it doesn't speak to the actual numbers of the census where there are more women than men. Let's run back to the phone lines. Call you live.
I would think that a lot of the problem with there being more women than men is the murder rates, the deaths and murder and things. We lost a lot of men. As well as you when you talk about pregnancy or birthhood, right? You can do that through what you call artificial insemination,
Right.
or through surrogate motherhood. You know, and you know, it's not over till the fat lady sing. You know what I'm saying? It's not over till the fat lady sing. It's about us supporting our men. You know, and to deal with the situation. You know, you have lesbian women having children.
Lesbian.
It's just about us supporting each other.
Right.
Being, you know what I'm saying?
So
and big ain't always better. You know, the countries with less people than us. You know, you have the Greenland.
But those same countries are worried about going extinct.
No, but what I'm saying is not over until they're not worried about going extinct. They're worried about being what you call it, bullied, the belligerent nations around them. You know, we don't have any problem with that because we're small anyway. You know, the smaller number's not going to matter anyway.
Well, you know why we're small? Because we separate ourselves from everyone else that's like us. That's why. But genetically speaking, we're not small. We're the majority on the planet.
I mean, when we compare the nations with 30 million people, we have how many? That's small, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, that's when you narrow the scope down to nationhood. But as far as genetics is concerned, no, we're not small. We have the most people on the planet, right? And this is what the concern is for many of these so-called.
Who you saying have the most? You mean
Africans?
Africans,
melanated people.
Right. Okay. You're talking about melanated people in general, or
in general.
You're talking about the Bahamas, just melanated people.
In general, we from Africa. The Bahamas just came around in 1973.
The population of the Bahamas and
right.
Issues, right.
That's why I framed it. Initially, I framed it Bahamian men with Bahamian women based on the fact that we love to talk about organic Bahamian and so many Haitians and so many immigrants. So I framed the conversation in that way to have a discussion. But the larger conversation is that as melanated people, you know, we are the majority of the planet.
See, but I don't think that in the Bahamas situation, what you call it, I believe in the CSME. Listen now, but the nation, Bahamas is the Bahamas.
Right.
You understand me? That's like having a what you call it, a culture. You know, it's a nation. There's nothing wrong with being a union of nations.
Right.
Or a union of Bahama Islands. You understand what I'm saying? The Bahamas. You understand me? You talk about local governments, like a local government, like a small nation government. And there's no reason for us to dilute it with other nations just because of the situation we find ourselves in our birth. You know what I'm saying? Our percentage of men to women. We just need to deal with it like we need to deal with every other thing else. And you know what I mean? Come to grips with it and deal with leadership. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have to go against our religion, become, what do you call it?
Whoa.
Those religions that have many wives.
Hold on. What do you mean go against our religion? What do you mean by that?
No, what I'm saying is you talk about more men.
Yeah, how is that going against? How is that going against your religion?
Man, I mean, I don't know. Some may say.
What's your religion? What's your religion?
Christianity isn't about one man, one woman. You might say that. You understand me? So.
Well, the Bible says that.
No, but the Bahamians don't believe that, right?
Well, do Bahamians read the Bible? That's the question. Bahamians will listen to a pastor. Bahamians will talk to each other under the tree. But who's
our laws? That's against our laws.
Yeah, but the same laws that enslaved us, the same laws that actually put us in a position to be inferior in our own country, the very same laws.
So what does that? See, when I see laws like, cultures like that, right? You know what happens when you have, if you have what you call it, 49%, 48% men, right? And 52% women. You know what that means? And you have men have many wives. That means you can have some men with no wives.
No, that's
right?
not. That's not what we're saying. If every
that's the numbers now. We're talking about the numbers.
Right, but we're not saying every man is gonna have multiple wives. That's
what
not.
About,
that's
so what are you gonna do? What's like the situation? You're gonna have men with no wives because you have a man with many wives.
Dude, you know how to do math. You know how to do math. Hold on. Once every man has a wife,
right,
there's now an extra 15,000. That's what we're saying. So there won't be any men without wives.
Young men have wives, and all your men have wives. You take care of the men. Make sure they have wives in you know what I mean, a life, right? And then you could deal with the women who need, you understand me, a husband or man in their home. And
well, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen organically. That's gonna happen organically. We're not saying that we're gonna have a Rolodex and we can be pairing people up. That ain't what we're saying. That's gonna happen organically. But we're speaking more to the culture and the mindset that would allow for it to happen. So I appreciate you calling me, brother.
I mean, it's about hello.
Yeah, I'm there. You still there?
You know, it's about having an open mind. You know, not dictating the others. You know, everybody must have a voice, eh?
Yeah.
Right, that's what's important. You know
I'm with you, bro.
The nomination, what's his name? The last talk I had with him, what's the guy? They got the nominations from the FNM.
Rick
Guardian?
Fox?
From Guardian.
Oh, from Guardian. I'm trying to remember. Oh, you mean who? Not Mr. Lang from the way back.
The same slot as you.
Oh, you mean who got a nomination?
Yeah, from the FNM.
I missed that. You and me and Howard Howard ain't get a nomination. Howard Grant get a nomination?
Not Howard, the other guy who comes on Guardian right now with the slot you in.
That's what I said, Mr. Lang. Chivago. Oh, you mean I'm God Roseborough?
No,
there was a female who got nominated.
Comes on with God.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not sure. I can't remember who that is. But
right.
Yeah.
Darwin Russell?
Darvin Russell. Okay, yes.
He got a nomination.
Yeah.
You know the last conversation they had with him, right? He talked about investing, payments investing, the poor people investing the hub.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I gave him the numbers, all these things the poor people have to deal with. It's impossible for them to live the life that people who have disposable income to invest.
If they remain...
He agreed to disagree. I mean, in other words, he gave me the opportunity to have a conversation with him to give me a view.
Right.
And until talk shows take that approach, it's not going to have any respect from the wider public. You know, thank you much, sir.
All right. I thought I was letting you talk. Thank you so much for calling. If we remain individuals, then we could talk about being poor. But if you pool your resources in a responsible way, if you actually learn about what your ancestors were able to do and what they were able to build, so much more with so much less, then we wouldn't just sit down and call a radio show and cry poor people. Yes, things rough, but I'm giving you an alternative. We're going to run to a break here on Guardian Radio today, but we asked the question, should Bahamian men have multiple wives so they could have more Bahamians, children? Back after this.
Now they're sharing, cause that's the only way they could ever hope to get a man today, cause man shortage all around the world. It's a crucial situation, man shortage. There's so many lonely girls.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch.
Hey, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and he boys coming for me next.
Alright, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did boy?
All you gotta do is call them or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and you can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we're back here at Guardian Radio today. Nothing but the cocoa soup. Lord. You think that's what they got us with, man? The cocoa soup? Can Bahamian men having multiple Bahamian wives produce more Bahamians in the Bahamas? This text says, hey, Sarah, most Bahamian men don't take care of the one wife they have or children they have now, so that would be a real mess. Well, if we maintain this posture of not addressing trauma, of not healing ourselves and actually having these kind of conversations, and we will remain in a mess. All right, that's being spread around about black men and the fact that, or they say that we don't take care of our children, but the CDC had a study that debunked that whole myth, right? We're the most involved with our children, right? So why would that change if wives are added to the equation? This text says, good afternoon. Man can't figure out one woman. He'll figure out a couple. Plus, he will never be able to take care of himself properly. He'll be worn out in every way. If you apply a European mindset to an African solution, then yeah, you'll be in that problem. Yeah, you'll be in that problem, right? We're talking about pooling resources, right? We're talking about becoming a unit, not bringing on dependence, right? The Western world has taught women in many instances that they must become a dependent to a man, right? If all of us recognize that we're being oppressed, why would that formula work to help bring us out of right now? Talking about responsible men and women getting together and pooling resources, which means you got to bring something to the table, right? Why this wouldn't work for all men is because some men don't bring nothing to the table. And the women will let them know. When you see you ain't got no woman, you figure it out and you get yourself in order so you have something to bring to the table. You'd be surprised to see how this would actually help some men to figure it out. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you live. Caller going once. No? All right, let's go back to the text. All right. Uncle, between gay, jail, and murder, we are short on good men. Every responsible man should get another woman. See, these the texters that understand, what we're talking about on today's show. Amen, texter. Amen, texter. Next texter says, as a woman, I don't have a problem with this family structure under one roof. However, my concern will be that the husband not loving each woman equally. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is the part of the conversation, right? What if he treats one better than the other? Or the children on differently? I knew that was coming. And I'm glad you brought that up. children the same? And I'm not saying the women are children, right? Do you love all your friends the same? I mean, this is the question we gotta ask. As a man, right? Someone who had 2 girlfriends in preschool. I just knew I was supposed to have more than one woman, right? I had 2 girlfriends in preschool. I say, Daddy, her is my girlfriend. All the teachers knew, they knew. We even grew up laughing about it. I mean, and there wasn't nothing to it. We just used to be schoolmates. We ain't been on no date or nothing. Ain't nothing happened. But I knew they was my girlfriends. You know, as we grew older and we would see each other, we would laugh about it, right? But that is a dynamic when you talk about a man loving all the women equally. There would be times where, in certain circumstances, a particular wife would be more not necessarily desired but needed. Let me give it to you another way. Let's say your finances, and we trying to crack a financial code. Yeah, I can need you more than the other set right now. Right? What if one is a better cook, and now we need to plan the cookout? Yeah, right now I can need you more than I need the other set. So in that way, if that makes you feel less love, no, just understand the dynamics of the situation, you know. But that's a good question, and I don't know how you would measure that. Let's see if that caller is back on the line. Caller, you're live.
Hi, good day, Mr. Uncle. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Listen, you know, back in the Bahamas, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
People used to have plenty of children.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
People used to have 10, even on all over the Bahamas. In fact.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
All right?
I agree.
But, you know, as women start to work, and men used to take care of the children because you could have satisfied it, particularly on the Old Island.
Mm-hmm.
Say, if they go fishing or livestock and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could feed that family and everything is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, as women start to work, okay? Because a lot of women used to be homemakers.
Mm-hmm.
The man go out to it, okay, he's the man of the house.
Right.
But as women start to work, it's as if men today are saying, listen, you got money too. And they cheap. And I kid you not. They're very cheap.
You're saying the men became cheap once the women had their own money.
Yeah, but that ain't the way it's supposed to be.
So
we're still supposed to be equal, right?
So
okay, I didn't work before in the 60s and 70s, but now I was able to educate myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I am helping with you, but this ain't no time for you to get no cheap.
So I just want to be clear about what you're saying. So I know some women say her money is her money and his money is our money. That's what you're saying?
No.
What you saying?
Okay, we don't have these children.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the children born in the 70s.
Right.
We got these 4 or 5 children.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's working.
Right.
Right? And now I'm able to educate myself.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little, out pending, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able now, I've been empowered professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what he wants to say, okay, my money's supposed to be matching with his money, right? But he wants to say, you got money now. I'm telling you.
He want that for daddy. He want that for that? He want to start handing you bills now. He want to start handing you bills. That's what you're saying?
He wants you, and if you, he'll say, okay, the bill will come to the rent. Because back then, the rent, and even today, the rent or whatever, the mortgage.
Yeah.
He said, okay, you getting paid, government pay. You make the payment. And then, you understand?
Yeah.
You want to go, you don't put the children in private school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, here, I'll pick up that stock. No, you go pay that. And you want to bring you little this and that? No, you're supposed to match me.
Yeah. I agree with you.
You see what I'm saying? And then the cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
I only let you know why people ain't having no more bunch of children.
Yeah, that's obvious, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The cost of living also is very high
Mm-hmm.
on this, that, and whatever, all the good stuff and all of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it all over the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So, and he say, okay, she got a car. she could afford it.
Uh-huh.
All right, she's the
He
one
jealousy.
What
What you trying to say? He jealous, he making money. He jealousy.
No, he's just cheap.
He just cheap. Oh, Lord.
He's cheap, but he could go out and buy bears, or you go
Yeah.
out and you see him and rent anything.
He ain't, so he won't
Yeah,
put
he's
he won't
cute.
put all the burden on the woman now. Let her take care of the bills, and then he going out to drink
Thank
beer.
you.
No, you can't do
So-
that. You can't do
So
that.
I say, I don't blame him. My mother say, listen, girl, tie your waist after them two children. Tie your waist. And I tell Dr. Sherman,
Yes.
don't tie it off, point it off.
I
And so
lo-
said, so done, and that was over 40 years ago.
I appreciate
And
you,
them
Carla.
same two I don't educate.
Yes.
No, they cheap. When they see you making little something, as if to say, well, okay, I ain't got to worry about that no more.
Yeah, yeah.
I can eat.
That ain't what we talking about today. But I hear you though. That has
Yeah.
happened. But that ain't what we talking about today. But I glad you called and put that on the table. And we wanna caution against that. I ain't what we saying, man. We saying we could pool our resources and truly build families here in the Bahamas. But we gotta run to the news and then pay some bills, and then we'll be back here. Should Bahamian men have multiple Bahamian wives? That's what we asking today here on 96.9 Guardian Radio. Keep it locked.
All around the world, girls are lonely and frustrated and shortage. There's so many lonely girls. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Crisis on the land. Lonely ladies can't get a man. Shortage round the whirly. That's why man are fit.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Alrighty then. She got the power, I'm under her control. I only got to hold.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today. Shout out to all the interns who are running the boards today. Y'all doing a great job, man. And we got Brandon on the board right now. You know, for everybody who listening out there, he's doing a great job. He's being overshadowed by Chris Spenneman, and they're doing a great job. We're talking Bahamian men with multiple wives. This texter says, your topic on polygamy. Let's first of all, I ain't talking about polygamy. Polygamy is some Greek term that they threw at us after we already lived the way that we're talking about right now. We originally had multiple wives. We didn't have no polygamy, right? That's the Greeks. The Greeks are freaks. You understand? That's their thing, right? But in any event, you say your topic on polygamy for men presupposes that these males want the responsibility of more children and not just sexual variety. Unfortunately, we see the immaturity of too many males who do not want to be fully formed fathers. All we will be doing is reproducing angry, abandoned boys, and we can see where that leads. Now, that's what we're doing now. We're doing that now through sweetheart. Responsible. Right? I'm talking about actually owning the woman. Not just batting her. Not just hit and run. Huh? Someone asked me earlier, do you have another wife? You know why I don't have another wife? Because the women who have been interested, they only want to be sweetheart. No, come help me do some of these pickups. Huh? Come help me do some of these drop-offs. Huh? Come help in the yard. Come help us with some family things. It ain't just about sex. We just talking about. It's just about responsibility. You understand? And that's what a lot of people are afraid of, responsibility. And my question is to us, if we're trying to raise a nation, at what point do we become responsible? You want sweetheart, but the number's still dropping though. Huh? People still losing their houses. People still running around broken poor. Don't have to be that way. Don't have to be that way. Let me get some more text and then we go back to the phone line. Let's go back to... Yes, my man. You know I talking to the Mayflower. Check the numbers. Say we have 10 women to one man. Most women want a little son and daughter. If one woman to one man, what will the other 9 women do to get their children? That's the point I'm making right there, Dexter. You got over 15,000 more women than men. You see what I'm saying? Let's run back to the phone lines here in Guardian Radio today. Call you live.
My brother Ancon.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Man, listen. Boy, this is very... Anyway, this is being practiced in this country and the world as we speak, but it's just not legal in the Bahamas.
Right, and it's not being done in a responsible way.
And let me say this, yes, this is a practice in this country as we speak, and we have to tell the truth.
Yes.
But it's just not legal.
Right.
And it's coming from the feminist movement. The feminist movement, they have issues with God. They don't want the responsibility of a husband. One, they don't want the responsibility of being in control or having a head over them. So what they do, they play the game. And they said, well, okay, I will get mine. This country, I deal with men. And more than 40 years now, I've been in the business of service dealing with men. So I know a lot. But you're a pastor, right?
Yes, sir.
The pastors switch the word. Use semantics. And you could correct me if I'm wrong. You will never find in this Bible where a woman was used or warned about a cheating man. You will never find that nowhere in this Bible. But the pastors them switch that so they can get audience from the church. But you could find in the Bible where man was warned about a cheating woman. You can go in Proverbs chapter 2, you will see where Solomon warned his son. You can go in Proverbs chapter 5, and you could read, if you have time, you could read it on the air, where Solomon was warned his son. We can tell the story about Potiphar's wife, who lied on Joseph. Who lied on Joseph, and Joseph was sent to prison. We'll tell the story about Jezebel, who was a feminist. Everything she sees, she wants, even though she didn't need it. We all know the story about Delilah, who fooled and seduced Samson. But pastors change and switch it and call man cheating. In this Bible, like I said earlier, you will never find where a woman was warned about a cheating man, but a man was warned about a cheating woman. Here's what's going on in America right now as we speak. There's a man called Elon Musk. No love. Everyone is now preparing themselves to have a child with this man. You think a child should be born that way?
Yeah, that's crazy.
In America, this man already have up to 12, you can Google it, 12 children sleeping with our sisters he never loved. But the sisters them putting themselves in the position.
It's called tying into the vine. Tying into the vine. He's tying into the vine. He's tying into melanin.
And this is what's happening. And this is happening in this country. The feminist movement or the strange woman, they don't want to be committed. But the man is being blamed for cheating. But like I said, you will never find in the Bible where a woman was warned by the cheating man, but a man was warned by the cheating woman. Look at the Kardashian. Every successful football player or basketball player who get hurt, the innocent child.
Mm-hmm.
There was evidence to prove this. So your topic, your subject matter, this is a practice, but it's just not legal. Now the question should be asked, should we make it legal?
Hey, that show coming. Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Because it's here.
Yeah.
The feminists have a problem with headship, which God was given to man. And guess what? I'll say this, according to the Bible that I'm reading, with all the temporal success that they may have accomplished, they are tormented, not happy, poorly socialized children right in their home. But they have created a nest that they can't change because they tell God that he make a mistake. The principle of God will never ever change. And so this is why we are having this social dilemma in this country, because we want to change what happen. Watch how the feminist movement is growing. Watch how many of them offering themselves. But when they get froggy, what happened? You got to find someone, eh?
Yes.
Have a good day.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for calling. When we go to scripture, the word for adultery is na'af. And they say it means to commit adultery, figuratively to apostatize, adulterer or adulteress, committing adultery, or a woman that breaketh wedlock. So the covenant that they're calling marriage today was originally called the binding of the two flesh. And both the man and the woman bound themselves to the Most High. So when you go to the book of Hosea and they talk about Israel as this whoring woman, adultery didn't just speak to you cheating on your spouse, right? When we broke the covenant of the Most High, we were seen as adulterous as well, right? That's a whole nother show. But thank you so much. Hey, bro, hats off to the man who can handle more than one Bahamian wife. Why y'all like that, man? Why are you all like that? Our Bahamian women, if you honest with them and you upfront with them and you showing them where you coming from, they ain't hard to deal with. I love my Bahamian women. My wife is a beautiful Bahamian woman, right? Good day, Mr. Aeneas. I would love to have more than one wife and more children. I have a wife and a little girl, but money-wise, I don't know. $375 for preschool fee, BPL, BTC, bills, food, gas, cars, or cares of this life for me. It's impossible at this time. And I understand you, Dexter. If you keep applying European strategies to African solutions, you're going to stay broke. Because you will never hear me once say, bring in other women as dependents. That ain't the show we having today. You understand? If the man understand he oppressed and the woman understand she oppressed, and they understand that they someone else who also oppressed, and we could work together, it changes the ball game. Let's go back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you live.
I called in reference to that same last caller who called when he said with the feminist part of it.
Yeah.
Because clearly he have a vindictive and a problem. There's something wrong with him. First of all, he running on about how the woman changed it and how the church changed it. He need to understand at the end of the day, these Bahamian men ain't going to want another woman bringing another man inside the house, so they shouldn't bring another woman inside the house.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that if you want to go have another wife, that's fine, you go have another wife. But at the end of the day, you expect that wife, those wives, to be faithful to you who have more than one wife.
So were you listening to the show from the beginning?
I was listening to the show from the beginning because when the lady called and she was explaining to you, stating that the men nowadays are being cheap, she was correct. When the women then started working, the men say, okay, you working now, you can help us with the bills. But nowadays, the woman paying all the bill and the man's holding on to his paycheck.
So as if he even have a paycheck, right?
That's my point
Okay.
right there. He won't labor. Nowadays, these now they will stay home and be the houseman while the women out there working.
Right. So
They taking the same vehicle the woman paying them the bank for, and they driving they speedy around inside it.
Right.
Now let's go make that same woman now another wife.
So
now you got her working,
Mm-hmm.
the woman working. The man might as well stay home and just do what he got to do to multiply, like how we talk, how the whole discussion
and see,
starts. Multiplying.
and we know that's a fictitious story because that ain't gonna happen. We know
Exactly,
that's right.
it
So
ain't
that
gonna happen.
can't be the conversation we having. That can't be
But
the
my thing
conversation we
is,
having.
if you want me to share you better put in your mind that you be sharing me.
Yeah, that's.
I sure at the end of the day,
Mo
when
could
I
say-
tell you I want a certain amount of money for certain things, the next woman want a certain amount of money for the same certain set of things. And when you talk about multiplying, that's another story. Because back in the day, baby formula, my child formula was $10. Nowadays, that same formula is $20.
Wait, what happened to your breast milk? This is what I-
No, not everybody can do breast milk.
Okay, but why? But why?
Not every woman
But
produces
why?
breast milk the exact same
But
way.
why? But why? Because I can let you talk and I let all the callers talk. We still want to live with Western values and try to apply these Western values to African solutions.
Not
All-
every woman
So-
produce milk the same way.
Yeah, but why?
Some produce 2 weeks after. Some produce a month after.
But why?
Some produce 2 weeks or 3 months
But
before they
why?
have baby. Then what?
But why?
Go anything with from hormones to genetics to
Okay. So we gotta address some realities within
And then now
our
you got to understand
We-
the same woman now, who husband or they would have an ex-wife, she got to go to work. Now, let's just say he got now make 2 children, because like you say, one woman can make 1 child a year.
Mhm.
One man can make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Let's say he make 2 of them in 1 year.
Mhm.
Both of them
Uh-huh.
women now got to be working because they're making sure their children get what they got.
So let
That
me
man willing to babysit 2 children at one time?
let's go.
Is he willing to babysit them 2 children while them 2 women go and work and try help take care of the household?
When a woman have twins, when one woman and one man have twins or triplets, what do they do? Don't they babysit the children at the same time?
I didn't hear that.
When one woman have twins or triplets, don't they babysit the child?
Yes.
Okay. And if you have grandparents, it makes it even easier, right? We're talking about a family structure here, right?
And
Let
the
me-
family structure is adding another woman into the equation.
Yes, it's something that has been done and has been proven, and it continues to be proven.
Okay, tell you what. So what we could do, right?
hmm
Let's go and get. Let me go say, okay, like he's sufficient for the household. Let me go get another husband.
You know, it's interesting that you said you.
Let's
Is
say
it? Hold
he
on. It's interesting you said you listened from the top of the show because your maths ain't adding up, right? We started the show saying it's 15,000 more women than men in the country. So your maths ain't adding up. So where you getting this
So
man
because
from?
there's more women than men.
That is the premise of the conversation.
Why? Because why?
Because there are more women than men.
We bringing in more depends than Pampers.
Yes, we're bringing in more depends and pampers because we having less children. No, because hold on, because this formula that you've drummed up in your mind that you can go and work and not have children.
No. Let me
Right?
tell you the
Hold
problem.
on. I let you talk. And you can hold the line. This formula that has been drummed up of I can work and not have children means we have less children, right? Which means we're now below replacement level numbers. Which means the conversation of having immigrants come in here to work and do other things is now a reality. We don't want to deal with that. We don't want to say bring
Did
in
it ever
more.
occur to you?
Hold on. Let me finish making my point.
Mm-hmm.
I am simply saying, right, that we had solutions in our culture. If we go to the book of Genesis chapter 1 and 28, right, we understand that all African men started out with 2 wives to begin with. And let me explain what I mean by that, right? And God blessed them and said, fruitful and multiply. The fruitful meant that his first wife was the land. His first wife was to be fruitful, to grow food, to grow business, to make sure that there was income. So that when the wife came to multiply, there was something to feed the family. And there was more than enough to feed more than one woman and several children. That is our way of life. Now we've gone away from that. I'm not talking about westernized values. That doesn't work for us. We sweethearting anyway. So you could get on the radio and talk, but you want another man all you want. Where you gonna find him? Because you're sharing that one twice. So I'm talking about the reality of where we at. We are already in a situation where sweethearting is the national sport. So I'm saying, let's stop the sweethearting and let's be responsible. And let's have real conversations.
You ever hear the song 6 1/2 dozen is the same thing?
Because
clearly you never hear that song before.
What that song have to do with this conversation?
So at the end of the day,
you saying sweethearting is the same thing as adults getting together and being responsible?
So we support adultery based on
Answer the question. You're saying that sweethearting is the same thing.
I tell you that the reason why the numbers
You don't want to
are
answer the question.
is because females don't want to be pregnant. They rather that labor is not a joke to play with. After having one baby after 9 months,
why don't
they
they
don't want to go down that road again with that pain and that labor
because
until the next couple of years.
this is a whole nother show, right? What you bringing up is a whole nother show, right? Your labor and your pregnancy don't have to be painful. But if you living outside of your natural way of living, you can be painful.
What you mean labor not?
Yeah, that's why I say it's another show.
It's clearly you have never, and I can put my money on that, have never been pregnant and been in labor.
No,
before.
but I have spoken to women, and I'm telling you what women have said. I'm not telling you what I believe. I'm telling you what women have said. And I'm telling you that women who live a way of life conducive to having children don't have the same pains as women who don't live that way of life. That's what women have said to me.
And how much children they have?
They got five, 6, 7 children.
Okay. They got 5, 6, 7 children. That ain't enough to be multiplying for national insurance number to be different.
But that's not the majority. That's the point we're making. That's not the majority.
That's because the majority of women are telling you that that's painful and ain't nobody want to go through labor
That's not what the majority of women are saying. The majority of women can't find a man.
Okay.
I ran into two 30-something and 40-somethings in the past 2 weeks. And I said, so you married? What's going on? Oh, no, still looking for the right one. The Lord could send me a man. That's what people saying. They ain't saying, I don't want to have no man because it's very too painful. That's not what they're saying.
What you're saying is a man nowadays will get married, because we have a lot of single men in the Bahamas. They will get married only on the basis that they can marry a second time and have another wife.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So why a lot of Bahamian men ain't married?
Because a lot of Bahamian men were never taught how to be men. A lot of Bahamian men were never taught how to be men, and they were never taught the purpose of manhood, and they were not taught. If you can't be fruitful to multiply, how you could jump to the multiplying and you haven't been fruitful yet? Multiply, Genesis 1:28.
I understand it says be fruitful, multiply.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
a perfect example of that where be fruitful, multiply, because every woman in the settlement he wanted to sleep with.
Say it again.
My grandfather is a perfect example of that, because every woman in the settlement where he lived on the island, he had one child with him.
And did he take care of her?
At the end of the day,
did he take care of her?
Every household.
Oh, so he was what? He was fruitful.
Yes, he was.
Then okay then. So that's all he's saying.
But at the end of the day, he could have maintained each household.
Because he had land.
Yeah.
Okay, you go.
These men nowadays don't have nothing to their name. They look into the women to help them get what they have.
Because let me tell you something, my sister.
Because they won't
hold on. It's not because you're smarter or more intelligent. It's because they fear you less. They will empower you more because they fear you less. The society that we are under oppresses the black family, and they understand that the woman is what they rather deal with. So they will empower women over men. But if men and women can't sit down and see that dynamic, if me and my wife understand that there's a system working against men, I will put the business license and we can work the business together. And they could say she making all the money and he ain't making no money. But if we wise enough to understand that we going up against a system, we could get over this financial hurdle together.
Saying something with the system.
Huh?
There's no Bahamian woman.
How you can speak in absolute terms? Because hold on.
We ain't talking about other women.
You can't speak in absolute terms. Because I've spoken to Bahamian women who actually disagree with you. So just speak for yourself.
Bringing another woman in our household?
I have spoken to Bahamian women who disagree with you.
Okay, so you're telling me you have spoken to women who are willing to go into being married to a man who already have a woman, a wife, and be inside that household and be the second woman?
Yes,
a
ma'am.
Bahamian woman?
Yes, ma'am.
Where the first woman giving her orders and telling her what to do?
I didn't say all of that. Where you get that from? Where you
you
get that from? I ain't saying nothing but that. Giving orders? Who said that? What do you get? You watch too much TV, man. I ain't saying nothing but that.
in the same house. Who can follow the board instructions?
The scriptures. Everybody. Hold on, Bahamian woman. Listen. We had binding of the two flesh, where we all were bound to the covenant. We are all guided by the covenant. Ain't no woman giving orders to another woman.
How much flesh?
The binding of the two. Listen. The binding of two flesh to one. Listen. I want you to listen. Because the only person who is having multiple relationships is the man. So every time he binds to one of those flesh, they have a ceremony called the binding of the two flesh. That's why it's called that.
No. See, once you go and bind that two flesh, when that man go and add another flesh to that, that's 2 plus 1.
Miss, did you understand what I just said?
I heard what you said, but
No. Tell me what I said, because I wouldn't understand what you heard.
Say 2 becomes as 1. Doesn't it say that?
And how many times can that happen?
That 2 becomes as 1. Right?
How many times did it happen with the children of Israel?
We ain't talking about the children of Israel.
We talking about the children of Israel because we talking about God's chosen. God's chosen is the one He chooses. So whichever one He chooses, that's the model. How you missed that?
New Testament.
I know New Testament, not the Old Testament. Jacob in the Old Testament.
You fail to understand. I said there's an Old Testament and there's a New Testament.
And everything on everything. Hold on. But you want to keep the 10 Commandments. You want to keep the laws. But then when it's coming time to talk about marriage, you want to run to the New Testament. Hold on. The New Testament is a testament that has more books written by Paul, who never walked with Jesus, than the actual disciples who actually walk with him.
When we talking about the Old Testament,
and I got some other calls. You got to hurry up.
Fine and dandy. I understand and respect the Old Testament, but at the end of the day, there then became a New Testament where God sent His Son down on this earth.
Yeah.
You know
So
that one that we call Jesus.
yeah, who was in the Old Testament?
On this earth,
Who
then rectify some things in the Bible. The same way where they were trying to stone
he had to what?
adultery.
He had to
what did Jesus say unto them?
Jesus
said, "He without sin cast the first stone."
Yes.
Then He started writing.
So let me get on this because you obviously didn't read the same Bible I read. Hold on. Who was Mary and Martha to Jesus?
Mary is Jesus' mother.
No, not that one.
You're talking about the one that Jesus begot.
No. There was a wedding. Hold on.
Jesus begot Mary.
Hold on.
Jesus then took her.
You have Mary.
He was also one of Jesus' followers.
You have the sisters of Lazarus, Mary and Martha. You have a wedding in Cana. They never tell you whose wedding it is. They only say that that's what Jesus, he was there and he performed his first miracle. They never tell you the relationship.
He turned water into wine.
Hold on. But you scared to hear what I have to say.
Go ahead.
They never tell you the relationship between Mary and Martha. And we'll do a show on it. I'll pull up the verses and we'll discuss it. But this Jesus that they give, when you go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4, and they talk about another Jesus, another spirit, and another gospel. There's an African Messiah who had more than one wife. You understand?
See that all that running on about the Jesus and more than one Jesus and a different Messiah.
It ain't running on. It's just scripture.
God only sent one person.
It's just scripture. It's just
only
scripture.
One.
But I appreciate your call. We got other callers, and we'll discuss it on another show. All right. Let's go back to the phone lines here. Caller, you're live.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I could hardly hear you, but that's, I guess.
Sorry, you can hear me now? That's better?
Little bit. That's all right.
All right.
Listen, I just give thanks for patience. Because that was long, but we can need to rope her in. I'd like to start by saying you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Give thanks to the truth for empowering you.
Yes.
A lot of people ain't ready for this today.
I just want use a woman, right?
I's a woman and I ready for this. I've been ready for this, but these man and woman ain't ready for this.
See, I'm glad you calling right after her.
I don't need no man scheming on me, man. If you have another woman and you can take care of me and you can take care of her and you can take care of the next one and we can come together and we can sit down.
And we can wait together? Yes.
Yeah, we together.
Yes.
My children's father have 2 children before mine. We ain't together no more.
Right. Ah, boy, we lost our call. Call back, caller. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-425, and family violence, 242-300-520. This text says, good afternoon, Uncle. While on the face of it, your proposal seems exciting and adventurous, but after living with one woman for over 20 years, I'll say a hard no to your proposal. I don't care that much about the cultural population of the risk at the risk of my sanity. Well, ain't for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Ain't for everyone. But I appreciate your decks, let's see. Why is the pastor talking about Delilah and Jezebel and not once mentioned David? Or was it David's son who raped his sister? And even more egregious, did not mention the New Testament, didn't make a difference between male or female adultery. Whosoever putteth away his wife and marrieth another committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her that is put away from her husband committeth adultery. And if I read Deuteronomy 24, it says something different. I ain't getting into that today. All right? You always be listening to Geno Jennings. And everybody knows there's likely 10 men out of 100,000 who could afford a toy girlfriend, much less a real wife and children. This the real world. If they want, live in the bush and use rock oven. Otherwise, this reality. So again, we have who are choosing not to engage this conversation, right? They would rather go on a tangent and bring in all of these Disney narratives in the midst of the chaos, right? Let's go back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Call you live.
Yes, blessed uncle. I'm glad to be alive.
Likewise.
Sometimes you have a lot of patience, The last lady was, I wish she could call back. I'd like to hear from her, but some of us are unwittingly practicing eugenics and don't even know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even as you try to educate the public, right, sometimes you have to juxtapose common sense and observations with what we were taught so our minds won't be caught and brought, right? Now, because I look at the animal kingdom, right? It's just like when you first mentioned sex or the season.
Yeah.
And so we look at the animals and we look at certain animals go into estrus or they go into season, and we look at the plants and they bear fruits in the season, right? So I juxtapose that. So it's no different when we look at the animal kingdom. Some animals made for life, right?
Yeah.
And some don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this conversation is much needed, but as it relates to Adam, the situation you're talking about, Paul, how his books inundate the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people haven't even observed that.
Yeah.
They even haven't observed inconsistencies in the Gospels that they call synoptic.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't even observed disparities in accounts of the killing of Goliath, where David killed Goliath twice, then they say Elhanan killed David's brother. It's all, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, when we look at you really need to, the Negro mind has become cursed because he can't overcome the deception of the concept or the doctrine of immaculate conception. He just can't. The lady highlighted that. She just can't take it up her mind that God, no man was born without sex. And these people are really holding on to that answer. You need to straighten that out because it's frustrating for somebody like
that. Yeah, that's another show, but I agree with you. Immaculate doesn't mean there wasn't sex. It just means that the sex, it means that the sex was clean.
But, the time, the chronology in my thoughts here. Listen to me.
Sorry, go ahead.
You also said that when we talk about this doctrine of immaculate conception, right? But it is hurtful because then we know that Jesus had brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So then you're telling me that Mary was the virgin all of her life.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned, all right, why is it that Paul would have all of his books inundate the Bible? I mean, I didn't want to get into Paul, but the thing is, the lady caller, she was the one before the last one. She was truthful as to why she won't be fruitful, right? So now we see a lot of women gathering up talking about climate change and they're on bird strike and they ain't having no more babies, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So they become defiant and they actually carry out, they don't understand that this is really the whole concept behind it. When you look at technocracy and the impositions, it is designed for them not to want to have children. But it was somewhat, I guess, if they don't want to have children and they don't want to have it out of wedlock, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But I have a friend, not even a friend, is a guy that lives nearby. He is of an alternative lifestyle. He's now dying and he has no children. But he sought to be married to somebody in the States. But he didn't have any children. It's the same sex, right? So I can't feel sorry for him. I can't feel sorry for anybody who make decisions in their life. Now you have nobody to take care of you, nobody to give you, nobody to do nothing for you, but you want other people. So we all have to suffer according to the life we live. If a person smoke weed, if they drink rum, you see the people inebriated with rum all over the place, and we make our decisions in our lives. But we need to get our history together as black people and stop wallowing in what we were taught, because it sickens me. And then the problem is with the Negro race. When you speak out, they have a problem. Like I heard somebody send a text today, right, Uncle? You heard me on the radio many times calling myself ignorant and a dummy, right? I realized the extent of my own ignorance. That's why I listen to Guardian, I listen to Lang, I listen to yours, and I learn.
Yeah.
I also read. So if I seem to be a person that knows everything and have an answer, I never claim to have an answer for anything. What I claim to do is when it comes to religion and certain things about science that I know they will use to slave humanity, I sought to educate the public. Life is based on reciprocity. Anku, I learned from Anku. Anku learned from people. So we learn from you dialogue and observations. So what I learned from the Negro is that text is a hater because he's not even listening to what I'm saying. He's saying that I have a remedy for everything or answer for everything, which I don't. And I never said that on the radio. I give information out. I've never cured anybody. I don't claim to cure anybody. What I claim to do is dispense knowledge without a college. So I don't know why we as Negroes hate one another. Maybe he should contribute, but I'll line up and listen, listen, buddy.
Appreciate the call, man. When we talk about eternal life in our ancient African ways was by way of your children and your works. Your children and your works. Once your DNA is on this planet, you are alive. Once your works are affecting the living, you are alive. Let's keep that in mind while we talk about we don't have no children. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live. Caller going once. All right, let's go to the next caller. Caller, you're live.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I called before. And only because of callers that were after me. Listen, have you ever heard about Lilith?
I have heard of Lilith. I've heard of several Liliths.
No, I mean Lilith. As in the Garden of Eden.
I said I've heard of several.
Pardon?
I know of several Liliths, yes.
No, I mean in regard to the Garden of Eden.
Which Garden of Eden?
I just told you the Garden of Eden.
There's more than one Garden of Eden. That's why I said
you
I've
know
heard
exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm just trying to be clear because you have different renditions of that story in different cultures. But go ahead, make your point.
Right. No. I'm not even talking to you. I want the listeners, actually.
Okay.
Go and study Lilith. Okay? But what I really called you back for, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's in regard, okay, you were saying that there are more women.
The census said,
men,
I didn't
right?
say that. The census said that. The last census.
Yeah, and it's probably so.
Yeah.
But you know, the Bible also says that men are getting wiser, but they're getting weaker. And I'm going to go after this because I know it's going to cause a lot of controversy a little bit. But you know that a lot of men have a problem with the thing called, you know what, right? I don't want the P word.
Yes.
Huh?
ED. They call it ED.
Call it what?
ED, erectile dysfunction. That's what you're talking about?
No.
Which one are you talking about?
I mean that one. I mean the prostate thing.
Okay, right. That's true.
Okay, so there. And maybe that's the reason why it's more women than men. Because you out of line, okay? You're not to have more than one woman at a time.
That's why? Do you realize men have prostate problems because of lack of sex, not over sex?
No, but you go and check it.
I have checked it.
Go and check it.
I have checked it. I'm telling you.
For over rough thing like that, I don't go graphic.
Yeah, I got you.
You go and check it. That's why.
I have.
Check it, Lilith. I want everybody look up Lilith.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Lilith, like I say, there's a European understanding, this Lilith, this lady of the night, but there was also a Queen Mother Lilith, right? And she was of the tribes amongst the Tigris and Euphrates rivers around the lands that Nimrod built. We'll talk about it one day. Her husband was called Simjaza, and she was against a lot of what the European Lilith, the lady of the night, the Leilat, the prostitute, was actually about. So that's another show. Let's go back to the text. Let's see here. Many of these females cannot be wise. Many of them are broken and can only be nice. These fellas, these people, y'all are rhyming on me today, man. Let's just try to get some of these texts out, and then go back to the phone lines. Your caller, Mr. P, is a caveman. If a man financially support his household, that's why our forefathers used to insist that young men build their house and have dependable income to be eligible to marry their daughters. Backwards thinking wants to demand headship without responsibility. Well, that's why I said Genesis 1:28 says, be fruitful and multiply. The fruitful part is having land. Problem, though, is we ain't got land like we used to have land. Bahamian men don't have land like the ones of yesteryear. The men of yesteryear pull a lot of opportunity up for the men of this year, of this generation. That's a whole nother show. You understand? They've made it harder for us to be men in this country. So that's why we got false economy right now. That's a whole nother show. We're going to run to the break here on Guardian Radio today and be back after this. Keep it locked.
There's so many lonely girls. There are lots of lonely girls you can find alone in bed.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Get ready for the biggest football game of the year, Super Bowl 60. We have the best seat in the house for you. Join Star 106.5 All-Star Team live at Anthony's on Paradise Island on Super Bowl Sunday, February 8th from 2 to 6 p.m. Enjoy giant screens, delicious fun food, ice-cold Calig Bear specials, prizes and surprises non-stop. It's the place to be for Super Bowl Sunday. Anthony's on Paradise Island. Watch the Patriots take on the Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
The Star 106.5 All-Star Team will be there to cheer you on from 2 to 6 p.m. It's the biggest Sunday of the year for the biggest game of the year, Super Bowl 60, live at Anthony's on Paradise Island. Don't miss it.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah, the cuckoo soup. I think plenty of us don't eat the cuckoo soup because we ain't listening to sense. This is a great question, and we go back to the phone lines. This is a great question. Are there any limit on the number of wives? What happens to this entity? She's talking, or he or she is talking about this group of a man and multiple wives, right? What happens to this entity when the husband dies, and how would the children assimilate from family and society? Well, this is why the notion of a man just taking care of women who ain't doing nothing don't make sense. Now, if this man and these women are building businesses, the children that they have will eventually run the businesses. Eventually, when that man passes on, the business helps to assist not only the wife, but the children. You understand? And so there's a lot that goes into to building this entity. And we just because I just want to see where people's heads are at. But we've been so inundated with westernized foolishness and pornography that in many instances, we're not even hearing the conversation. But it's a great question. And I pray that my answer help you to understand a bit much. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Call you live.
Yes. Oh, like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
a lot of men and women in this society, they're not ready for this truth.
Mm-hmm.
They've been, told for so long, one man, one woman.
Yeah.
As I see it, as I move through in life in this journey,
Yeah.
from what I get to understand, I have 3 children.
Yeah.
I love carrying children. I come to carry children and born children.
My Lord.
That's what I come to do.
Amen. Amen.
Now you so low I could hardly hear you.
Sorry. I say amen. Amen. I know.
Yeah, I come to do that. So like the caller say, you say it's painful and this. See, it's a mindset.
Mhm.
And if your mind is of that set, then that's how it goes.
Yes.
Now, in order for them to wake up, there's so many deprogramming and reprogramming we have to do.
Yeah.
See, I don't have no problem with sharing, and I ain't sharing no man.
Right.
Because a man could handle more than one woman. Like I say, the test, why was he made up that way?
Right. Exactly.
Now, okay, having said that, see, I could handle that. See, because my horizons has been broadened, and this, you're like, even my sons, I have all sons.
Mhm.
And I try to be a oneness with a man, but I never got. I've never been married as yet.
Yeah.
And like I told my sons when they was coming to the age of 13 and 14, which is, as far as I'm concerned, is the rites of passage now for them.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, in this society, they held down because women and men become women and men at the age between 13 to 15.
Mm.
But we can't do nothing until we get married. So all that testosterone, all that estrogen, all this holding down, and even that I don't like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
now
you.
the woman say, sex given the man. Excuse me. What word I can use for that? Anyway, natural things gain the man prostate. That is not true.
Yeah.
The reason he gets the prostate is because he
ain't using it. He ain't using it for what it's for.
3 times a day.
Yes. He ain't using it for what it. See.
I need it 3 times a day. That's why menopause has beat us up so bad. This is a natural thing. I have never seen a dog, a bird, a cat, or a rat stop a day. One man, one woman, and we can have menopause.
Mm.
Anyway, I go on with that.
Appreciate
I
it,
can hardly
man.
hear you, honey. I hope you
So-
hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and
Yeah,
clear.
man. A lot of people just got to wake up, and Sweetie Pie, we just got to continue to do the work.
Yes.
When I started this truck 30 years ago, and I love the caller who say I need to call back. I really need to connect with these 1 or 2 gentlemen I hear calling in and making a lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
When I started this truck 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you send me stuff every day. One day I can let you know who this is.
All right.
Yeah, 30 years ago, right? I was done open up to this. I'm glad to see that you don't have the 100% sleeping no more. You have 3% wake.
Yes.
And maybe 30 years from now we'll have 10% wake. Hallelujah.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Yes. Blessed be the.
Respect, man. I appreciate that call. Uncle, putting your wife away means divorcing her and leaving her on her own. God never told a man he can only have one wife unless he was a leader of the church. They never had to divorce a woman to get married to another woman. Amen. Let's go to the phone lines here again here on Guardian Radio today. Call you live.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Uncle?
My brother, I'm doing well.
Excellent. Good afternoon to the nation.
Yes,
Boy,
sir.
I listened to the last caller, the lady.
Yeah.
I laugh, Uncle, because I said to myself, boy, if Senator Rodney Manco was still alive,
You understand?
he would say, behold, welcome your leader. You are a saved woman.
Yes, he would have said that.
And he would have opened his arms and embraced her fully, right? For making sense and for being prepared to submit. But,
Yes.
You know, the funny thing about it, Algu, and I've been having that same conversation as it relates to prostate cancer, right? And lack of sex, right? But or you know, lack of milking that prostate, right?
Yes.
But you had some big men in the country,
Yeah.
Uncle, right? Who never lack a day in their life, their entire life, and you know they were still stricken with that prostate. So
Yeah.
I began to wonder.
Well, that's,
I
it's
believe
not,
that certainly has something to do with it, right? But it has some other requirements as well.
Definitely.
In addition to milking that prostate, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But then when you look at what's happening in the society and what some of the women are trying to put forward, and they're suggesting to the lawmakers to pass laws that would imprison married men who desires sex with their wife.
My Lord. See, that's a whole
It
nother
makes you
show.
wonder what's really going on in this country, right?
That's a whole nother show, yeah.
It makes you wonder. But I want to end by asking you a question.
Sure.
And I'd like to offer one statement towards it.
Mhm.
Why did you prop false economy before you went to your last break?
Because there's a lot of illegal activity going on that people are utilizing to survive in this country right now. There's a lot.
Not only illegal. I must add, Uncle, which is why I challenge you with that question.
Mhm.
We, in my view, we have a half-decent economy,
Mhm.
but it's false in many regards. When you look at what the government, for instance, is telling the international financiers who are utilizing the GDP flowing through our country,
Mhm.
which in many instances isn't a
It's
direct
not accurate.
benefit
Yeah.
to our country,
Yeah.
it puts us in the billions of dollars, but those billions of dollars don't belong, nor does it stay.
Hence, we have
and
a false
benefit the
economy.
right?
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, when you look at the number one industry in this country and the hundreds of millions that are being profited by the industries, right?
Mhm.
By the persons participating in the industries, that money, most of that money is not in our economy either,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Bahamians don't own to any degree, small, medium, or large,
Mhm.
any of that money that is flowing through this country. Those
Yeah.
hundreds of millions and perhaps billions if you total them, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I'll end right here, Uncle.
Mhm.
When you look at the fact that we used to have an economy in the 60s, 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
This before the drugs thing,
Right.
Before and coming off of the bootlegging
Mhm.
and the rum thing, right?
Yeah.
We are an economy where people with third-grade education in our country, Bahamians,
Yep.
could build high-quality homes in our country,
Amen.
mortgage-free.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
But we have advanced in our country. We have advanced in our country in technology and in so-called education,
Mhm.
right? And classship and all these kinds of stuff, right?
Mhm.
Economic status.
Mhm.
But we are the worst off if you do a comparison. We
I agree.
are the worst off for it. And so it tells you that
Yes, indeed. I sorry, I had to run. It's like we have one more call in, but I agree with you, Anton. I agree with you. Let's get to this last caller, and then we'll wrap up the show for the Talking Heads coming up next. Caller, you live.
Hey, my brother, Chris Davis here, John Canoe II.
Hey, my brother. Glad to hear you.
Yeah, man. Interesting show you have going on, you know.
Yeah, man.
And that's an interesting question you posed, boy. I know you ruffling plenty feathers today. But you know, I spend a lot of time in Ghana,
Yeah.
and I've spent a lot of time around people
Yeah.
who actually practice polygamy, and there's always this confusion between like polygamy and polyamory.
Right.
And I think what you're talking about, and what people talk about from the African perspective, you're actually married to each of these women,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And I had many conversations with even women who are in the,
Mm-hmm.
and they always sort of tease Western women.
Yes.
And they say, well, you know, a lot of these men and most of these Western women who would criticize us for doing that,
Mm-hmm.
he'd say most of them, the sweetheart or the girlfriend or another man who might be married and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But in our culture, it reduces that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and on all us as wives. Ain't no sweetheart and no cutter and everyone is a wife.
Exactly.
But also, what's interesting about the entire thing is how the Bible sort of allows, biblical scripture allows for these things.
Yep.
And how Westernization sort of allows us to do that, you know. But polygamy is not something where every man had multiple wives. Even in Ghana, where in many spaces it's accepted, the norm and allowed, most men don't have multiple wives, right? And it goes far beyond sex and these westernized concepts of love, right? Particularly when you look at chiefs and kings and wealthy men and successful men and community leaders, particularly on the traditional side. Men are expected to have many wives, particularly a king.
Yes.
Because if
the
you think about
responsibility.
it, assume the Bahamas had this king, you would have Lutra from Kid Island, from the Providence, from Grand Bahama, so that to ensure that all of these communities have the same level of political influence within the kingdom. A lot of times, you will have older kings who take younger wives, and they're not even being intimate with each other. It's almost purely political, right?
Yeah. Listen, man, I wish you had gotten in earlier, Chris, John Quad II. But clearly this is just the beginning of this conversation. We just scratched the surface. There's so much more to talk about regarding it. And we're definitely going to do it again at some point. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for texting. Thank you all for calling. The Talking Heads are up next, right after the news. So keep it locked here on 96.9 Guardian Radio. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Namaste, family.
No, there's nothing physically wrong. They just cannot get a man cause man shortage all around the world. Girls are lonely.